Hello, Emily, this is for you. The first step that I always do, very important, before you even wash your face is wash your hands. Because I am someone that will be touching my makeup in and around the day and while I'm doing the makeup. You are kind of on the bottom shelf, so this isn't really a great angle of me. And this also is not a great spot because there's the top of my cupboard right there. Whatever. So, after you wash that, you wash your face. So I have my face cloth. I normally like to have two. One specifically for drying, but I'm in the middle of doing laundry right now. So, just wet your face, put it in a safe spot that's clean. And then I wash my face with the Aveeno. And I live by this thing. It has exfoliation on one end and kind of like very soft bristles on the other. So I wet it. Just go at it with my face. With the soft bristles end. The pink end that you see on the other side is the spot that I won't be using. I will use it to exfoliate my cheeks a little bit and like where my nose is. And that's because that's where a lot of my oils like to sit. I'm just washing all of it off. So when you're done washing it, or rubbing it anyway, I'll rinse off my brush and then go over it to actually get the bubbles out. It'll be easier to wipe off and not have the soap sit in your skin. Just a quick rinse over. And now that you have your face washed, I just wipe it off with the cloth. The wet one. This is always the important step for long-lasting makeup. The most important. Anyway, if you're done with that, you can let it go. There, all done. So now the next steps is your face oils, or serums, I guess people call it. First, I have my ingredients squalane formula, because this is you can find it in the Shoppers Drug Mart specifically. It's a very cheap brand compared to the like $30 ones. I think this is like $7. So the squalane booster, which is going on first, and then the hyaluronic acid serum that's just a serum. So that one's going over the booster because the booster is thinner. The serum is going to be thicker. We're going from lightest to thickest. So, and then after that, we are going to moisturize our face. I use the Cetaphil face moisturizer. My face is very dry, so I need all of these steps. That's why I have the serums and everything. Otherwise, there's serums that do other things, but these are the ones that I use for face moisturizing. So, and I just take my 2 fingertips. We wash our hands, we wash our face and everything. So I just put it on my face and then rub it in with my hands, let it dry between layers, and then put it on. When I'm done these steps, I'll pause my video and then I'll unpause it when I'm done these steps. There. Now that I have all my moisturizer on, you can tell my skin is glowing. Next step is the primer for your foundation. So let's talk about, before we get into the primers, get into the foundation. You choose what foundation you like. I'm going to be using Dior Forever Skin Glow. This is more expensive. This is like $50. Very expensive for whatever it is. I'm trying to get myself used to that foundation. I'm not used to that one yet. I'm using it for my wedding. But we're not using that yet. For you, Emily, We are using, since it's the darkest skin tone I have for summertime, you're a little bit of a darker shade than me. So I used this one, which is also lighter than the Forever Skin Glow. This is the Sephora brand. It says Best Skin Ever. They have a ton of face shades. The reason I want to talk about foundations first, and this is super important, you look at the back and you go to ingredients. Normally it doesn't matter. Or that's what I thought anyway. The reason it is very important is because you want to look at the first ingredient or the second or whatever. It'll tell you if it's water-based or silicone-based foundation. Silicone is going to be heavier on your skin. I believe both of these are water-based. Actually, the Sephora brand doesn't say, but you can most likely just go on the website and find out. If it's not on the bottle, it'll be on the website, so you look it up. It's very important that you match, this is when we'll get into the primers. It's important that you match your foundation to your primer. Very important step. Otherwise it will cake, it will break up around fine lines and stuff as the day wears on. It won't look good. So I have in my Forever Skin Glow, which I'm going to be using today, but again, I used this one on you and it worked great. So it must be a water-based one. There, ingredients. Aqua, water, is the first ingredient, it says. So we know this is a water-based foundation. Now, I didn't think it mattered because any primer that I've always used, I either didn't match it correctly or I didn't realize it was a big difference. It is a big difference. So I have a water-based primer and this is magic, okay? This is what your main step is going to be. It doesn't need to be super heavy, but when this is the Milk Hydro Grip Primer. This one's super popular. The reason it's going to be this one is because it's a water-based primer, and because of the natural ingredients in it, like probably aloe, I would imagine. Yeah, aloe is the first ingredient. It's going to be sticky once it like dries on your skin. So I'm getting out my makeup brush that I use a flat head like this because it's going to be easier enough to pat it onto my skin with the foundation. For the primer, same thing. I used my 2 fingers. We washed it. It's good. Put it on, which I'll do that now. And you need to let it sit for a moment until you can feel it getting sticky. You only need 1 pump. Trust me. So just on your main areas of the skin, definitely like to get around the fine areas. I like to put a little on my eyelids and just bring it in. Once that's dry, once we put on our foundation and our powder, this is the Milk Hydro setting spray. So it matches the primer. So I let that sit for a moment until I can feel it getting sticky on my face, which is why I figured I'd do this. And there you can see it's sticking. Well, maybe you can't see. Yeah, there you go. It's sticking to my face. So that's how you know it's ready. You can go. So it will stick to your skin. I like to start with my foundation, putting it in the main areas of the face. Like that, basically. I have another dollop though. It's gonna be too much. But this is what I start with, center of the face. We're going to, some people like to wet their brush a little bit. That's what I'm going to do. That's just so it's easier to pull it up. So we're gonna start at the center of the face and bring it out. And the reason we do that is because it is going to be easier to layer on if you want to add more. I like to do my lips because I like to do lighter, more natural shades on my lips. So it's going to be easier. I'm going to use my actual mirror for this. So I'll be looking up here now. But you're working the foundation outwards, and that way we're not caking it all in the center. And we're not using too much or anything. So for me, this is like 1.5 pumps. I didn't think it was gonna be enough, but I do want to bring some into my chin. So I'm gonna have like half of a pump and just dollop or whatever onto my chin, just so I'm blending into my skin a little bit and by my ears, like where my neck area is. That way it'll be super easy for me afterwards. And there we go, foundation's done. Now I do my face a little bit differently than I did yours, and I don't mind my makeup being a little bit more cake. I don't want to say caked, but like a little bit more layers. Now, what is different is going to be how you prefer your makeup. Do you like it to feel heavy, like you have a lot of coverage, or you don't? And that is going to be important because that is going to determine how you want to contour or shade your face. I like to use a cream, and so that's what I'm going to do. If you don't like heavier makeup, or you don't like the way it feels on your skin, you're going to set your face now with your powder, with an actual powder, and I'll show you which one I use. If I can, oh yeah. I use the translucent, which means just basically it has no color. You can set it to whatever you want. This is the Morphe brand, but any translucent powder will work, doesn't matter. You'll set it, and then you'll use more powders to powder the spots you want to be darker or whatever. For me, I like to use cream, so I'll do that. But if you're not using it, ignore it. I did that a little bit off. It's supposed to be up there. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't need to be set perfect. You're going to rub it in after. Now, the reason I'm doing my tutorial and showing this is so I can show you how you would do it this way. And so you can see the spots that I contour or put darker spots on and why. So here is going to be making your chin look more like snatched. Here is going to be, again, making your face look more lifted. I like to just contour my nose. I realize I didn't put it on the bottom of my nose. I like to just contour it so you can see the shape of it, and your temples. So it'll make your face look skinnier. This is why I'm doing the cream, so you can see where I'm going to be putting, I use powder on you, where I'm going to be putting powder on you. I don't use it on me, but that's where I'll be putting it. So you ignore this cream step because you don't use it, but that's where I would set it. Now, for me, I use, so this is normally like a powder brush, but it's so much easier to blend. I'll use this sort of big powder brush to blend this out. And at the same time, since I'm using creams, I'll do my blush now. And then I'll set it. For you, I set the face, or I did put this on, and then I set your face. Because this is a blush. And I do put some right on my nose as well. There's 2 different shades on it, so that's what I did. It doesn't matter where I put it. So this is when I'm going to blend it all out. I start with the face area here because I only go, people say pat, whatever. It's going to end up looking the same. I kind of take it, press, lift. I kind of did it from here earlier, but you want to start where your color is so it stays there. This is what you're going to do when you set the face. I'll show you, but we'll get to it. So I'm blending right now. You would be doing this after you set the face with the powder. And then you would be doing this with powder, not cream. But I'll show you. So you can ignore everything I'm doing right now because this doesn't pertain to you. If you're using cream and you're someone other than Emily, welcome. I'm glad you're watching. But yeah, so you can see already my face is more, I blended my nose terribly on the top. There. So I'm blended. My face looks more lifted, skinnier, whatever. I like to just bring a little color onto my face. It blends everything better. So I'm done with my face. I'm setting with the powder, which this is sort of the same sort of brush I use, but this is one that, a different one with a purple handle. So I know the difference. So if you're Emily, you just finished doing your foundation and now you're setting your face. If you're me, you just finished your cream and now you're setting it. Your cream is going to be before. So I'm setting my face with the cream or the powder. People say don't put on too much, you know, whatever. People like a lot. It depends on what your preference is. It doesn't matter. Honestly, you know, don't put too much if your face is dry because then it'll kind of make it worse. But if you're oily, then you want to put a little bit more because this is what's going to prevent your face from sweating or oiling through. Finished setting my face. I don't know if I got my neck, so I'm going to try that again. Just down there. There. Done. Setting my face. So, Emily, we just cleaned, did the serums and moisturizer, then we put on the primer, then the foundation, and then we set your face with this powder. Now for you, Emily, since you like the powder, you're gonna grab whatever brush you like. I used the same one that I use for like the powder brush that I use for the cream that I blend out. That's what I use for powders as well. I cleaned it and did your face first, and then I did the cream on mine when we actually did our makeup. So it was a little bit different. But this is when I would open the palette and grab whatever shade is going to be best for your skin tone. You're a little bit darker than me, so I grabbed not the lightest, but the second lightest, and I did that one on you. And I shaded all the areas there instead of using the cream. That's what I did on you. Now you're wondering, well, what about the highlights? Those go in at the end. You want to put the highlight on at the end so you can actually still see it. So I'm done setting my face. And this is when we're going to do, I like to do eyebrows and then eyes. So that's what we're going to do. For me, I've been using this Charlotte Tilbury. Yeah, Charlotte Tilbury pen. You can use whatever pencil you like, but this is one I use on you as well. And the reason I use it on you is because you like a more natural look. And it's easier to get a very precise line because it's very, very tiny. And this is the one I used to use, or that I use on myself to kind of do the underline. And I'll show you the difference. So this one at the top is all of it versus that. This one is a lot more tiny. So we're going to go in and we're going to use this because this is the one I used on you. You have to be more precise with your lines for this, but I'll show you how. For anyone who doesn't, if you're Emily or someone else, that is great. So what you're gonna do is you are going to first take the pencil and you're gonna find the inner corner. The inner corner would be up here, but you're gonna find the outer corner by your nose, where your bridge starts. You're gonna want to outline it just a little bit extra. And then you're going to underline this whole eyebrow. I'm going to pause so I can actually use the mirror up there, and then I'll show you. So the only thing I did was underline that dark corner. So we're shaping our eyebrow. That's where we start. I'm very picky with my eyebrows, so I like to do it precise. There we go. So it's just lined. That's my shape. You follow the shape of your eyebrow. Very important. If you can't find a shape, then you need to get your eyebrows done or plucked or whatever. You can find your shape. Maybe I'll do a separate tutorial on how to do that. But this is how you line your eyebrow. The next step you're going to do, I like to use my hands to talk. You're going to just make some lines on the top corner here. And I'll show you what that looks like when I'm done. Again, I'm going to use the mirror. There. So only thing I did was make a little bit of lines here. It's going to look dark before you brush it out. So now we have our general shape. This is all I need, except I'm going to fill in the back part so it's dark as well. I'm just going to follow where my hair already is. I do have to, as you can see, I don't have a lot of hair in between where my like nostril starts. Here, it would be like over here even. Well, no, a little bit over. You're going to find what your shape is. For me, it's harder to do when I'm not doing it in a mirror. We're going to be more right there, so it's going to be even later. But you can see I don't have that hair, so I have to draw it in. Emily, you do have that hair, so you don't really need to do that step I just did. But you're just filling in and making your shape better in your eyebrow. Now I'll finish here, and then I'll show you versus when it's done. There, so I'm finished. I do like to actually start here. I don't line anything up top here because that's where your natural hairs are going to sit. I like to start here, do my bridge, work it down, fill in the inside here. This is the difference, done and not done. So you can see I just made my shape a little bit better. Now it looks dark now, but I'm going to show you when I'm done. I'm going to do this eyebrow and then I'm going to come back and then I'm going to brush it on camera so you can see it'll get lighter when you're done. I'm back. Did my eyebrows. They're dark right now. Doesn't matter. We're going to be brushing them out. It'll take a lot of the pigment with it. That's why it doesn't matter what it looks like right now. And if you still find them too dark, you can put a little bit of powder on them. It'll go away. I'll show you. But so if your eyebrows are uneven, this is a good tool to help you even them out, wherever it's uneven. So I'll brush out one eyebrow. We're following where our hair is. It's going to be important that you rub here in the inner corner because the trend now is to have the inner corner be lighter than the rest. So I'm just brushing it out and following where the face is. Now, if you finish and you're like, this is still too dark, you've tried to put a little bit of powder on it, it's still too dark, especially if it's in the inner corner and a little bit too dark, like here. I don't put any foundation on. Important. What I do is I take the brush that I did use my foundation on and I just lightly go over the shape of my brow. And it will get, see, you can already see it's kind of getting the spots that are a little bit too dark that are close to the skin, and it'll brush itself out. See, just did. And now it looks more natural. So you can see the difference of it being not brushed out and brushed out. And I did have to use a little bit of the foundation brush just to match it out. And I'm going to make sure it's still blended by using and brushing it a little bit more after I've done that. If you've done that, just take your powder brush that you did use. It's going to have some residual in there. Just pat it. Doesn't matter. Now you're done your eyebrows. I'm going to finish this one and I'll come back. Now, you can see I didn't have any hair in the inner corners here. I'm going to fix that. I don't have any hair on the inner corners here, but now you can see it looks terrible up close. It will be different when we put on eyeshadow. Because we will put a little bit. Even if you want a natural look, you're going to put a natural tone on it, and that's what we're going to do. But you can see I've drew on or powdered my brows where I don't have hair so I can shape it into the shape that I want. See? Perfect. Now we're going to get into the eyeshadow. We're going to do a natural look. So grab whatever palette you want. I'll show you the one I used. I think it's this Morphe one. It is. So this is the one I used on you because it's way more natural shades. You can work with this on kind of any skin tone. Doesn't matter. This is the Morphe palette. I don't know if there's even more than one, but you know, you'll find a palette that you like that has, you know, these kinds of similar tones or more tones. What you like. Doesn't matter. I'm going to grab a couple of brushes and then I'll show you. You know what? We're going to grab 3. Normally, if I wanted to, before I set my face, I realized I did just forget, so I'm going to do it. Normally, you do this before you set your face, so I do apologize. My face doesn't really need it right now, but I am going to put a little bit of concealer just to brighten my face in my under eye area. Because you know what? You can always forget about a step and come back to it. As long as you don't have too much going on. You didn't set your face with the spray yet, you're good. There, see, my face is lightened already. And just setting brush, get it done. There, face is brightened already, you can see in this area here. Done. Now, I'm going to use, you can use whatever brushes you have, but something like that is going to be best, where you have a point to it so you can get into the creases if you want, or even like that. And this is going to be more of a blending brush for your eyeshadow. What we're going to do is we're going to take a darker but natural color, say something like this shade, so it is darker than your skin tone, but still natural enough. And if you don't find that's dark enough, because I can't see it very much, you can always mix it. You don't have to be directly one color. And then we're just going to go into the inner corner. This is a little dark for you, but I do this more natural. And up in the inner corners. I like to use darker colors, so. I'm almost done, Brennan. Okay, so lined, doesn't need to be perfect. I'm gonna blend this out really, actually, in the inner where the line meets, so it's less harsh. I kind of like a puppy liner, so I do kind of bring it out and fix it if I need to. And again, blend. I'm blending with a different brush because I figure it'll be easier to blend if I'm doing a shape like that, if I'm doing it this way. So when we're done that, we're going to take a lighter shade than the one we used. So I'm going to use like a more of a natural cream brown to my skin tone. And we're gonna use that. And we're gonna go all over the lid. I realize I don't like that color shade or match. Go in with the same color you used and just blend it a little bit. And then it'll fit right in, see? Color mixing does do wonders. And then the color I just used. There. See? More of a natural look to my eye. Mine's going to be a little darker than what I would do yours. And now you're going to take a fluffy brush. This is one I use to kind of blend it all out at the end. Kind of take a lighter, fluffier brush, and you take the lightest shade next to the next lightest shade. Kind of mix that together, and you just put that all over the top lid. That's what I do. There, my eyeshadow's done. Gonna more blend it out here with a big fluffy brush. So it's done. Yeah, perfect. This is when you get your highlighter out. Now I go back to the highlighter that we used. This is again, the contour brush palette that I used on you, or powder brush thing I used. Now I'm gonna get a brush. I would tell you what it's called. I have no idea. This is what I like to use because it's gonna be easier just to put my highlighter with that. So that's my highlighter. It highlights and shines on your face so that when you turn, it's gonna shimmer. So you put that in the areas that you want to look the lightest. If you want more of it, like I do, there, you can see it now. I use my finger. Again, your hands are clean, doesn't matter. And I do like to put a little bit up there. See, you can see it, it's not blended. I do the same thing I do with powder, is just go over it. It's gonna be easier to make sure it's properly blended like this. If you need to further blend it with your finger, you can. Especially with my forehead, I found my forehead was getting a little oily. So again, there, it's blended out. You can see it. My face looks crazy right now, like it's full of powder, which it is. That'll be fixed once we set our face with the spray. Right now, what we're gonna do is we are going to do mascara, and then we're gonna line our lips, and then we'll be done, basically. So this is the one I used on you, or you used your own, but this is one I use, Emily. It's also waterproof. It's gonna be good for a wedding in case I cry. We'll find out. But again, just do your mascara. You know how to do that. Okay, now, if you are normal and any human being, you'll get some underneath your eye. You should be able to wipe it with your finger and fix it. I think that's just a shadow of where I'm at right now. So if you're like me, which you shouldn't be, you should do this before you actually do your mascara. I actually do this after. And the reason is it'll stay there easier. It's like almost using a hairspray. There. Now, if you use a lot of mascara, don't do this because you're going to pull out your eyelashes with you. I don't use a whole lot because my eyelashes are already long, so I don't need it. There, and the eyelashes are done. Now I line my lips. I will actually line mine so you can see. For you, I didn't line it. I just used the Unnatural shade of lipstick, which is the Maybelline Super Stay Matte Ink, and it stays all day. But I'll line my lips so you can see if you want to do it. That way, the outer corners will have better shape to it. And I'm just following the natural shade of my lips. I do this every time I do my makeup, so if you don't do it as quickly as I do, don't feel bad. Because it will take a long time to get used to your contours of your lips. Now my lips are crooked. As you can see, this side of the lower lip is longer than the other. So I do go in and kind of correct that as best as I can, which is why I line my lips. That way it seems more natural. There you go. Kind of just shade in your lips. Done. And then your lipstick will catch the rest. I'm using a very light color to mix with this so that it's a natural kind of color on. There. So you can see my face in the light. It's going to look better than when it was in the shade. There's my lips aligned with a darker color. I gotta fix that. Excuse me. So I do have a pointed foundation brush like this, so I can fix any lines like that. Which, you know what, I will fix with a little bit of foundation. I like more of a pouty lip, so I like to actually keep my very, very inner corners a little bit later, which is why I wanted to fix it. I didn't like the way it looked. Again, I just blend it out with my powder brush because it will fix itself. There, we are done. The last step is our setting spray. So if you remember from the beginning, we get our Milk Hydro Setting Spray. This one just happens to match the primer I have. And you just go ham on it, you know, you just... It's like the hairspray to the makeup, so you do want to make sure it's in there good. You let it dry, and then we're done. I will let it dry. With my glasses, it looks better, because I'm used to seeing with my glasses on. But there we go. We are done. More of a natural look.